Alrighty. We are October 3rd, or is it July 3rd? It's supposed to be a high of 86 degrees today here in Owosso. The sun is shining, not a cloud in the sky or a single chemtrail in the sky. So it's a great day.
I see Starlink, though.
You do see Starlink?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's we have some fun things to talk about. It should be a little bit shorter than normal, but we do have some fun things to think about. I wanted to get us started, and you're not going to be able to see it on the screen, so that's kind of going to make it even. It's going to be a little challenging. Will you grab the remotes right there and turn on the TV so you can see it on the screen? Because this first segment is for Brian. Is it? Yeah. Yes. No, you should be.
Well, he's the unofficial mayor, and he's got all the pendings in the office.
Yep.
And he's the Golf Madness CEO.
That's right. Originator, planner, presenter, CEO, CFO.
The high mileage EMD retriever.
Yeah. Yes. HMFIC.
High mileage purchase agreement signer too.
Yeah.
He drove to Ascoda.
So our first segment then
Ascoda.
Today is going to be Brian's meme of the week. I took the liberty this time to go through Brian's long library of memes that he posts throughout the week, and I wanted to start us off with one that just would be lighthearted and have a little bit of fun. But I want Brian to explain and give his take on the meme. I love doing this to you short notice.
One, I can't believe that you actually scrolled that far. You probably barely scratched the surface.
Oh, I think I really just went in the last 24 hours and I got tired. My fingers were... So I picked what I think is your meme of the week for this week. And
well, first off, which account?
I went with your personal account.
My personal account?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not my preference. Okay, all right. Nope. Oh, okay. Now we're getting a little risque here.
Yeah, well, I picked one easy to start us out with. But however, in the coming weeks of the Huddle, we're each going to pick our Brian's meme of the week and put it out there for you. So, Brian, I would like you to explain this meme of the week.
What is there to explain?
I mean, some people are not as cultured as you and might not know what this is even in reference to.
So instead of sending out a business newsletter weekly, I should send out a pop culture newsletter weekly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm not quite sure what there is to explain if you don't see the reference.
Then you're way out of touch.
Dearly departed, we are gathered here today. Or actually, it's dearly beloved, but I say dearly departed because Prince is gone. Or actually, the artist formerly known as Prince.
Correct.
Formerly known as the artist as formerly known as Prince.
Symbol.
Yeah, whatever he was at the end. I don't know what he was.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. Heck of a musician, though. Quite the musician.
Amazing musician, yeah. So, I mean, clearly this is a Prince miniature Doberman.
I'm guessing, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
Getting ready to do a little Purple Rain. I like it. I like it. It was one that made me laugh, and it was clean. It was suitable for this audience.
Which is rare.
Yes. Yes. So, there, I started off easy. You guys, I'll assign somebody every week to pick out Brian's meme of the week, and we'll put it up and just see what kind of discussion we have. I was going to go with the Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the $10,000.
Oh yeah, that won't be cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I really believe that I want to contribute to charity for that one.
It's one of the most worthy contributions I've seen in a long time. When the person actually gets something amazing back.
I'd much rather give $10,000 to Danny DeVito and the cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia than to some pack or something like that.
Right. All right. So that was fun. Let's talk a little market conditions, because our people know that we love to talk market conditions. So who wants to... Whoa, let's not take the 1 minute drill on top of that. Who wants to take this and start on market conditions?
Well, I just have them pulled up right here real quick for the last 30 days in Shiawassee County. Excuse me. In the last 30 days, we had 48 new listings, 51 price reductions, and 73 pending, 80 have sold. Now, if that's not staggering for you.
So let's throw those numbers out again.
48 listings. So the listings have gone up, I'd say a little bit. But the price reductions, 51.
51 price reductions.
And 80 have sold.
And 80 sold in the last 30 days. So the 80 number is a good number. That's solid. 51 price reductions.
Yeah.
Pretty. That is a staggering number and something definitely to take note of.
Try to think about how that works. You have more price reductions than you do listings, but you got almost twice as many solds as you have had listed.
Well, if I was going to speak first, I was going to say, what are the market conditions? And I was going to say they're weird. That's the only description for it, because the amount of activity that I've seen over the last 6 weeks compared to earlier in the summer, along with the weirdness, like there are homes that are sitting out there. Right? I looked at a home last night that was that had been on the market since April, and which is unusual. And it's gone through 2 price reductions, and it's still there. And it's got some quirkiness, but still, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if you were going to go first, then why am I here?
Oh, leave, Cody. Leave.
That I think, first of all, the price reductions, we need to take note and really understand that while we've always said all year long, we have said that price still matters. We can't get away with being egregious. We are going to have fewer showings and less interest if we price it too high. And typically, people, agents, clients catch on to that stuff a little late. So I feel like, this is an aftermath of people feeling like the market's stronger than it has been, and not. They feel like we're living in the early summer market, perhaps, and we're not. We're not. Pretty interesting.
One thing I will say about this market right now, the most interesting thing is if the home is priced at the top of the market, that people are not writing offers. They're either writing offers for over asking price, or they're just not writing offers. It's like they don't want to negotiate on their behalf. It's very strange. That's something I'm noticing.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting.
I'm just a wild guess is in that particular situation, it could be because, like, I had buyers, and mostly I'm referring to back during last summer when it was still pretty crazy, when they were putting out offers for, $10,000, $20,000 over asking and still getting outbid, that people are kind of trigger shy. They're kind of burnt out on making these offers. And if they see something that's maybe priced at the upper end of the price range, they're already maybe with the max of what they can logically afford. And they're like, well, I'm not going to go engage in this and play this game again and again and again. So maybe it's just trigger shy is what it boils down to.
Do you guys believe that the interest rates are curbing buyers across the board at all?
No.
Cody agrees no?
No.
I've been holding to that same opinion, and I think I'm still there. The thing that the reason I hold to that is because your first-time home buyer is buying because of a life stage. They need to be buying, and they're either ready to get out of mom's house or, starting a family, whatever it is. And then so interest rates don't really affect their need for housing, right? They still need the housing. And then you take the opposite end of that, the people that are aging out of their homes and need to downsize, typically those people, probably 75% of those people own their homes outright. And ideally for them are buying their next house with cash. Interest rates don't affect them either, but regardless, they're in a life stage that has them purchasing their next home. So I just think that there's a certain, and I don't know the mix or the number here in Shiawassee County or mid-Michigan, but there's just always going to be a certain number of buyers and sellers, for that matter, that are doing so because of requirements from a certain life stage that they've hit. And it's interesting to me that the news seems to just want to blast the idea that interest rates have people sitting on their hands and not buying anymore. And when we get new buyers in and we get them pre-approved, you don't hear a whole lot of conversation about griping about their interest rate. It is what it is right now. So another case of the media interpreting what's happening in the market, and I believe they're misinterpreting what's happening in the market. I would lean towards agreeing with you, Brian, that people got a little gun shy in all the crazy bidding wars that were going on, and talking about people being slow to catch up to the trend. That's not happening anymore as much. It still happens, but it seems like buyers are trigger shy over something that's not really taking place as much anymore. So really right now for a lot of buyers, this could be a great time to skip all that, get into the market, get back into the market, write some offers where you might not have to compete so heavily as you were before. So interesting. And then as we eventually start to cool off in Michigan in the fall, temperature wise, fewer homes will be getting put on the market, and then demand is going to be outpacing supply again. So it's an interesting time and strange for sure.
I'm gonna consult my crystal ball, and I'm gonna say that in November and December, I'll be lucky if I write 2 offers.
It's an interesting thought. I have had a lot of people forever since I've been in the business say, "Oh, third or fourth quarter, fall comes, winter's coming. You must just cool right down and not have much going on." And that just has very few years out of the last 20 years have been that way for me. Usually October and November in particular are the busiest for writing offers or listing properties, and then December ends up being a really busy closing month.
I hope so.
So
I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong too. But Brian, you have been on a hot streak. And Mr. Meme has perhaps been paying off for you. I mean, you've had a lot of incoming listings and buyer clients right now. So yeah, keep the momentum. Did I introduce you to Momentum? No? We'll do that. Yes. Wait. I think I have that. There we go. Didn't want to let that opportunity go by. Let's try that one more time. There we go.
Better.
All right. Thank you. Cody's shaking his head, and Andrew's over here shaking her head too, rolling her eyes. I could hear her eyes roll. Any last thoughts on market conditions, predictions? How do we, before we close out that topic, why don't we just discuss how, as an agent, how do you deal with the market conditions? I mean, all this strangeness, the oddities. How do you cope with it? What's your?
That's a pretty open-ended question.
Yeah.
I need to be more granular than that, but how do I handle market condition changes?
Well, in particular, these strange market conditions.
I think first off, knowing the market conditions is very, very important. Being on top of what's happening with the trends, but I do it from a perspective of I need to be knowledgeable enough to help my buyers and sellers to be able to make wise and educated decisions when they're thinking about having a transaction, whether it's buying or selling a home. And that's I mean, to the extent of what's going on in the market, I mean, that's pretty much. Boy, I flopped that one, bad. I can't hold an intelligent thought right now.
Yeah. So Cody, how do you deal with market conditions?
Well, I can somewhat agree with Brian, but no, the main thing is I don't approach it any different. Obviously, you have to have the knowledge of where the market is heading, where it's at, to inform your buyers and sellers, but it's still the same thing, just out talking to people every day. And if they have a real estate need, you just sit down with them, look at their situation. It may not be the perfect time for them to buy or sell. So you sit down, you have that discussion with them, and as far as like interest rates, that clearly is always the top topic that people do talk about. And I just tell them you're married to your home, not your interest rate. You can change your interest rate. They will come back down. You can refinance. But just it really depends on their current situation.
Well, not to debate that topic of the interest rate, but are they going to come back down? I mean, do we really know that interest rates are going to shift downwards measurably, over the next year or so? I'm calling you out, but I'm not calling you out. Like, I mean, I don't mind the idea of being married to the house and date the rate. I don't mind that if you know that they're coming down.
Yes, the question is when.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yep. And historically, we are still at historical low interest rates. So it's just that everybody has been conditioned over the last couple of years. I mean, we were at 3.5 at one point not that long ago. So I understand the conditioning that takes place, but I always like to temper those conditions with the bigger picture historic rate. I'll tell it again in 2008, 2009, when interest rates went down to 7.75%, we were ecstatic. That was historic lows, the lowest they've been in 15, 20 years. So it is all about tempering, the big picture, but it is true that we live in this time right now. People are buying homes in this time right now. And the issue I have for the buyer with interest rates being higher right now is that values are also higher. So it becomes an overall affordability thing. We know right now that, your entry-level buyer, let's say your entry-level home, just for example, in Shiawassee County right now is $130,000 to $150,000. If interest rates were closer to 5%, that entry-level home that the entry-level buyer can afford, ends up closer to, say, 165 or 175. So it absolutely has an impact on affordability. It's just I think we have two factors working against buyers right now: higher values and higher interest rates. And then we're also coming into a season of political instability. It's, starting the election year here, apparently now. All the conversation in the news, which always upsets the stock market, causes some instability.
I've noticed.
Yeah. So there are a lot of factors, and yes, I agree with both of you that we need to be aware of what's driving the major trends in the market, and be able to relay that to our buyers and clients in a way that shapes or helps them form their decisions on what to do next. Not our decision, but help them form what they're going to decide to do in the future. So, yeah, I think market conditions, this is why we talk about it every week. Market conditions are super important. They affect affordability. They affect saleability. All kinds of things. So, being in tune with them is super, super important.
And look how quickly they changed. I mean, just a month and a half ago, we were talking about how homes were flying off the market. Now we're looking at 51 price reductions in the past 30 days.
Yeah.
It changes quickly.
Yep, it sure can. And if you remember last year at this time, we were talking about whether or not, well, it seemed like inventory in August had come back, and then we noticed by September and October that inventory was not coming back. So it'll be interesting to see, here we are at the beginning of October, is that trend going to die off again, and are we going to have low inventory and high demand again like last year? So we'll see. And I think that's the value in us recording these conversations, talking about the market, posting them out there, so we can have a video log, so to speak, of market conditions and the trends that are
tracking it.
Yeah, track it. So I expect over the next several months that we'll have lengthy conversations every week about this topic, especially in the middle of the winter, to see how things feel. So if that's all we have on market conditions, I really just have one more topic I'd like us to throw around, because here at Homefield Michigan Real Estate Consultants, we are local and local business oriented, local events and organizations oriented. I want to just do a quick little around the horn on our favorite local businesses. And we're more than welcome to throw out more than one business as part of your 1 minute drill and around the horn. And we've done a ton of highlighting local businesses, and so let's throw out some different ones that we haven't maybe discussed yet.
I'm going to get in trouble with this.
Awesome. I've been trying to find a topic we can get you into trouble in.
Because I feel like I'm going to admit somebody that deserves recognition. So, oh Lord.
We'll do this more than once.
Okay.
There will be more opportunity than just today to talk about our favorite business. But we're going to start with 1 minute timer. And I don't just want to name, but I want to know why. Why is there a business you like to?
Just one?
Well, you can, as many as you can fit in 1 minute. How's that?
Sure.
All right. Let's start off with Brian, since he's got.
Oh Lord, jeez.
All right, your 1 minute timer.
1 minute. Well, I think I'm going to pick low hanging fruit here for the first time. And I'm going to go with Sideline Sports Bar and Grill. And it's over in the old Capitol Bowl building. And the reason I would go with Sideline is because of what Nicole and Rick Reyna have been able to do with that business since they took it over. They took something that was essentially going down the tubes when it was the old Capitol Bowl grill. And they were able to, they've turned into a smashing business. If you've ever been there on the weekends lately, I mean, it's just absolutely jam-packed. And I think part of the reason is not only is it's a nice big venue, they do some fun activities like trivia nights. They have live bands. They've had comedy shows. They actually even have had artists come in and teach people how to paint. Oh, dang it. See?
Please
Wrong
continue.
question.
Please continue.
Oh, geez. Okay. But but also Rick and Nicole have a background in the owosso, I guess, food culture, I would say here. So they both, they were cut their teeth at Jumbo's when that was still around. Rick actually used to work at Lula's and really, really honed his skills as a chef there, and he makes some really interesting dishes and puts them on the specials and has some really interesting items on the menu as well. And it shows a lot of creativity there. But anyway,
it's not your typical sports bar.
It's not,
as far as the menu goes and the service and creativity. I agree with that.
So
awesome.
I apologize, Rob. I'll bring you up next time or the following time or sometime. Maybe not. We'll see.
Cody.
I'm going to start off with Wooden Crate Popcorn Company, owned by Trenton and Nicole Bailey. And Trenton mainly runs it, and he definitely hustles. He's getting the popcorn out in a lot of different public places. I know recently he got it into Monticello's over in 𝙧𝙖𝙩𝙗𝙧, Okemos area. And he's always looking for other places. So if you have a local business that you'd like to store his popcorn on your shelf, that would be a great opportunity for you and him, because it is phenomenal. People love it. I use it as my closing gifts, and they just recently purchased the business, so they're new at it, but they're doing phenomenal. So they've been at it all summer now, and that would be the number one. I also got to throw out Fitness Coliseum. That's like my second family, second, third family. You guys are second and third too. But Bree does a phenomenal job running the gym, and she runs so many local events that you see a lot of members from other gyms show up to. And it just goes to show the dedication that she puts into the community, and tries to make it better for everybody, not just her members. So that's another great business. And yeah, that's what we'll cap it off with, week one. And
That's good. I am going to go ahead and start my 1 minute. Used to talk about them a lot. It's been a long time since I've talked about Daystar. But as we're sitting here, we have streamed out of this office live video. Their equipment runs through this building and supplies us with the internet connection that we need to be this digital content creating real estate business. I can't tell you the last time there was downtime out of my home or my business with Daystar. And the truth is, there probably has been downtime, but they resolved it so quick that I wasn't even aware of it. So Daystar, if you think about how connected they have most of, well, a good part of Shiawassee County, but almost the entire city of Owosso now, is very connected with high-speed fiber optic internet. In this day and age, I think that is a huge deal, and we're fortunate here in Owosso to have Daystar Communications. And, in the coming weeks, we're going to keep highlighting some great businesses because we have a ton of them here. We really do. Was it about 5 years ago, Owosso, maybe even longer than that, Owosso won some small business recognition because we had the most successful and the most amount of small businesses per capita in Owosso. It was a pretty interesting little award they got. It was through the chamber from maybe the state chamber of commerce, if I remember correctly. But I used to kind of pick on the idea, and Andrea can probably recall this conversation at one point. I used to sneer a little at the boutique style businesses we had because it just didn't seem like any of them were, to me, a long-term business. And it turns out that what you call a boutique business here in downtown Owosso or around Shiawassee County is very well supported, and I'm referring to Oak and Ivory Clothing Company in particular. It used to be, that's how downtown Owosso used to be in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, where
That's what every small town in America was like back in the 50s, 60s.
But I don't know that because I wasn't there. I was here in Owosso in the 70s and 80s. So, but I feel like we're returning to that kind of business platform where people are willing to support the local business owner who sources their own products, and curates their inventory for their customers. And I can't wait, hopefully in the relatively near future. Hey, there's our friend Morgan. Hi, Morgan. That was kind of, I knew she was looking. I couldn't tell if she could see in here or not. We'll definitely, hopefully, get an opportunity to talk to Sydney Mara at Oak and Ivory in detail about her business, and hopefully she'll let us do a home field advantage video with her. But to me, that's a really good example of what I used to refer to as a boutique business that I'm embarrassed to say I felt like didn't have longevity in this town. And there's all of a sudden, looking around, we have a whole bunch of them that show a lot of promise for longevity. So I think it's awesome. And so we'll be talking about and to a lot more of those businesses in the future, especially in the wintertime when they probably all could use a little boost and some messaging sent around a little bit. So we'll work on that.
If I can piggyback off of that. So in the idea of supporting local small businesses, there's two things coming up where you can help. The first one is there is a cleanup this coming Saturday here in downtown Owosso. Meet at City Hall. They have two different shifts, one at 8 a.m. and one at 10 a.m. Come and join. Help us to make Owosso look a little bit nicer. And the second one is next Friday is Ghouls Night Out. So that's October 13th, and it's from 5 until 8 p.m. And a ton of businesses downtown are here a part of that, including Homefield. So come down and check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, the unofficial mayor of the 200 West South block, Southwest 200 block of downtown Owosso has spoken. And so clean up in Owosso and Ghouls Night Out. Awesome.
Be there or be a jerk.
Wait, you're going to have to give that demo again. You were not on camera.
I said, be there or be a jerk.
Wow. He just marginalized a group of people that will not be here
That's
to
right.
be able to clean up. They
That's
are
right.
now all jerks.
They are.
All right. Well, I'm only slightly offended.
Me too.
I just noticed that as soon as you mentioned oak and ivory, that Andrea started cracking her knuckles. I think she was about to pimp slap you.
I haven't been. I haven't been pimp slapped by Andrea in like
At least
never. That's not to say she doesn't want to pimp slap me, but she hasn't to this point. All right. This is October 3rd's version of the Huddle, and I think if nobody else has any input, we can reggae outro ourselves on out of here.